All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So, years ago, I told you that even if, and I believe I saw psychic evidence that sleeper cells were sent to the United States, but based upon us giving them a good life, they're like, why do I want to do what the Iranian government wants me to do? I want to be a good American and have a nice life here. So again, I don't know what the Iranian sniper was doing here, but he obviously was not intending to carry out any orders from Iran, whether they were, whether he was a sleeper cell or not. Right. Well, he was having a good life, and he apparently supported President Trump. So yeah, he could have been an Iranian freedom fighter, and there was no connection to the Iranian regime, right? Or, like so many over the years, they just said, forget it. I'm not going to risk what I got going on here. Right. Thank you. But the point being that whoever did it could be an American, but they could be a foreign terrorist. Right. Again, I don't know where the FBI is in it, but we could be heading into a Malvo Muhammad thing, right? Or again, if the person goes undetected, right? Do you have a location? Did you find any DNA in that location? See, I don't know. You could actually even know who it is. Be looking for them. I don't. Right, but again, you might have been able to get some DNA, but their DNA may not exist. So here's an example of how terrorism could work. Is he comes up or she comes up, does that job, and then disappears, and you never find them. Well, who was it? Right? It could be a PI that wants that capability. Because remember John Doe number 57, whatever that number was in the Oklahoma City bombing, the spies went out, the criminally operating spies that I speak about, criminally intensive spies, went out and effed people's heads over it. Veterans. We know you're John Doe 57. Right. That's the first time I noticed, I think, that they were around, was somewhere around something with that. It wasn't like right away during the bomb. It was like afterwards or something. Right. That's the big scam. The cold case scam is a big scam. Well, I'm doing a cold case, and we know you're it, but they're ruining your life. That's the only reason they're there. Right. And trying to push you and force you to break your mind, or they're trying to break your mind into committing a crime. Right. No, it could be a foreign nation attack. Because they know they really can't get to President Trump, and really that has limited use. As far as terrorism goes, Charlie Kirk, and then next week Candace Owens, right? That would freak people out, right? The weird thing is the topic that he covered. Could be Satan's stance, but maybe they knew what he was going to talk about. Actually, no, it was a question from the audience. I guess that person's being interviewed, right, and checked out. Right. No, there's no doubt that the trans person is last, and they're actually being willed and cursed to be shooters now by people that say they shouldn't be shooters. I mean, it's that insane. 100%. And I believe they're also being psychologically operated to be violent. I already tested all of it. You did it here. When I started going, rah, you ran around me and did all your crazy stuff again. Right. Trying to get me to be. You aren't testing me. You want to pull your gun out and shoot me because I know you're a piece of shit crook devil. That's what you all want to do. Right. And now the Boofer T. Pusser is fake. I'm going to be Mr. Walking Tall in Pennsylvania. So the older I get, and the more trouble you cause for me, and the more disability I have, the less likely that any of you are going to survive attacking. I said, the earth is a piece of shit. It's not going to rule you before you get yourselves in trouble. So just don't do it. Because once you do it, you'll all go to hell. Well, I'm wealthy. I'm living. Well, so was Charlie Kirk. He was wealthy. He was living. Right. See? I know he was something probably, okay? He definitely, made himself a target. Not to say he should have been shot. Again, we have to speak the truth. I'm not here to play your games. If you say you're Christian, then you accept speaking the truth. Right. Thank you much. Executive protection science is executive protection science. No fucking Nancy Mace, no fucking Donald Trump, no anybody that's an actual protectee is going to tell me that executive protection science doesn't reign supreme here. It does. Again, if you're protecting a dignitary, you're supposed to tell the dignitary how that works. Now, of course, it's just like investigations. The real executive protection people can't even have a normal life. The fakers, the criminally operating spies are out there protecting you, and some of them can't even tell you what you need to do to protect yourself. You can't be out there like Charlie Kirk. That's the worst thing you can do. 100%. Because it makes their job more difficult, and it's not a perfect science. I mean, you just saw it. How are they going to protect against that? So now, whenever a talking head goes and appears, they have to bring out the state police department. Put everybody from the roads. We're going to have 7,000 National Guard members protecting Candace Owens. I mean, this is real. It's just you're just lucky it didn't happen, and they know they're lucky. That's why they do it. Like me get shot, never. Right. Oh, and again, he's making money off it. I realize, that's what he does. But Charlie Kirk's executive protection person should have said, "Hey, you need to tone it down a bit, Charlie Kirk." It's making it more dangerous. Right? We don't know if we can protect you from that. I brought it up a good year ago, with Kamala Harris. I said, if Trump was smart, he'd go the same direction she's going. Bipartisanship. I don't know if she was real, but, Because I guarantee if you went bipartisan, most likely, okay, so it's a multifaceted. Let's say it is Iranians, or let's say it is Russian manipulated. The less friction you have, as I explained it, the less way they have to do anything. Right? So here's an example. Again, I live a cursed life because of what these people are doing. And it's been true for 30 years. It just eats away at everything you could be. Right? That shooter could have been pulled over. And or absentmindedly left the rifle on the back seat or put something on the back seat where the cop goes, "Hey, I need to search your vehicle." Right. And then it's happened before. Secret Service, other people. Again, the more friction you make, the more spiritual blindness that exists. And again, if Charlie Kirk was part of the deep state, attacking my life all these years, destroying my families, and my curse affected to him, that's the intention. But again, I don't know if he's that large of a devil. Again, you call him a Christian, but if Charlie Kirk is part of what I'm speaking about, then he's a devil. He's not a Christian. But again, if he's a Christian, he's a neophyte. He doesn't know anything. Right. No, when he took over the government, he also took over the church at the same time period. Right. Anybody knew anything, you either shut up or knew true real Christianity, you either shut up or they destroy you. Right. And a lot of people that were shut up, because again, they make merchandise for the preacher. Oh, because they don't like the preacher and they want their person in. Oh, he won't shut up. She won't shut up. Right. Oh, yeah, here's another $1 million. Get it done. Right. Right. They're liars. I've been telling you for years they've been lying to their bosses. The operation actually causes somebody to speak out. They're full of shit, every last one of them. No, they just sit there and talk shit about me all day and psychologically operate me and pay people and force anybody that would be my friend to step away, or they suffer the wrath of law enforcement. PIs and everything else that is unholy in their demonic enterprises of criminal proportions. Yeah. Well, we're actually, if you don't know, actually, even if you know who it is, but it didn't take long once we figured out who it was, right? Actually, we didn't figure it out until we figured out Shemp figured out the license plate, right? Or somebody, a cop ran our license plate, right? The Shemp was a jerk, though. You know what he did? This is what Shemp did. I'll tell you what Shemp did. So I'm there, right? And Shemp's like, and Shemp knew there was going to be like a search warrant or something. And he goes, hey, you can go now. There's nothing planned for tonight. He didn't want me around when the big stuff was hitting. He was a piece of shit for that. Right? No, I was on that investigation. Right? It was trippy. The one big thing Tom and I did, Tom and I had to go, Tom Loth to Special Forces. I think it was Tom Loth, right? I think it's who I went out there with. Yeah. Tom Loth and I drive out to Western Pennsylvania, or Western Maryland, right? And we enter this town. What's it, Tom Loth? Yeah, I think it was Tom Loth. It was either Burke or Loth. I think it was Loth. And we drive out to, so we pull into like it's the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we hit this, kind of small town, and it's big change from where we were, just kind of like woods and nothingness, and now here's the town. As soon as we get there's this pickup truck, and I think I remember correctly, it's this huge Dixie flag flying. This monster truck with a big Dixie flag driving through town, and you could tell you were in one of those towns. This is a KKK town. There's no doubt, right? And what we're doing is we want to look at this guy's gun, somebody's guns. We have to inspect his AR-15s. So we pull out to the property. There was nobody there. Now, this type of town, they might have told the dude, get out of there, right? As soon as they saw us come into town, right? Well, we get to the house. It's an old like Victorian home or something, Foursquare or something. I can't remember. And there's this is the weird part. We get to the house, and there's what do they call C-vans everywhere. And again, anybody that's done any search warrants of terror suspects and things like that, there's militias, there's C-vans everywhere. Or something like that for storage of the stuff, right? For all we knew, they could have been full of ammonium nitrate, because back then we were looking for that. I wasn't with anybody officially looking, but I received the law enforcement alert. Being a combat engineer, I knew the ramifications of ammonium nitrate being missing. So I'm thinking, what's in those things? Right. Could have been full of ammonium nitrate in barrels or something. Right. But they weren't home, and we had very little authority to really do much of anything there, and we had to just leave at a certain point, because it wasn't like it wasn't even a search warrant. It was just they owned an AR-15. Right. Well, it's the strangest thing. I'm like, this is because it's the perfect like Gordon Call setup. Right, posse comitatus, right? That was probably the biggest thing I did on. Oh, I did. We did go to the shooting at the bus stop. I think I was part of that team looking for the shell casings. All right. I think it was a bus stop. Yeah, that was a weird one. Like Burke and I had something too. Western Maryland was weird. I actually drew 2 Western Maryland operations like that. The other was Burke and I had to do like a subpoena or something. It was like the day after Thanksgiving. We went to work, and I said, "Okay, drive out to what you two drive out to Western Maryland and issue a subpoena." I can't even remember what it was. It was a weird one, like a Western Maryland one, like a Posse Comitatus subpoena. It wasn't like violent, but it was definitely a land dispute. One of those things. It was a land dispute. I think the government was going to take some land. So it's the day after Thanksgiving. Burke and I drive out, and it was at it was again in the middle of nowhere, and I think we had to walk the last certain distance because we're in like a caprice or something, and it was kind of rough roads or something. And we get to the house, and they let us in. We'd rather just give them the subpoena, But we go in, and we start talking about. I think they thought our gun was up here, watching Miami Vice, our gun was on they actually started talking about that, where our gun was, and, where our firearms were, and it was like shoulder holster. They thought we had shoulder holsters. Good thing that we had Thanksgiving dinner and we're all puffed up. They thought our guns weren't up on the top part. Right. But yeah, it was like, okay, let's go back. They got the subpoena. We're out of here. Right. Now it's like four of them or so in the living room. I mean, we'd have to get our weapon out if they were ready, That was back in the day. We had no communication. Right. Had no radio or anything. I don't even know. I guess we had a cell phone, I imagine. I can't even remember if we had cell phones. I don't know. We may have had just pagers. I can't remember. And if we had cell phones, who knows if there was even cell service out there. I don't think there was. That was the point. We couldn't raise anybody, and we just went in. Right. Yeah, but I very rarely get stuff in Western Maryland, but I mean, usually it's just in Western Maryland, it's usually a case, and that's it. Like the FBI goes in, does the raid, and arrests them and takes them back to Baltimore. It usually isn't you usually don't do much around there to alert them that you're doing anything. So we drew a couple weird things there. Now, I'm sure something was going on in that town we were in. It's just, but we were there for the Malvo Muhammad case. And no, it was the night that they did the search warrants. It did the night everything happened. Burke's like, I'm not Burke. Shemp told me to leave, but he knew something was coming up. He's just a piece of shit, man. As far as Shemp goes, he, for some reason he didn't like me, and that's what he did. Right. Thanks. Maybe because him and Shelton, I guess, were kind of close sometimes. Right. He's looking for his way up. So he's, that was the way up, just to treat you like shit. Well, Shemp's the guy that, called Baltimore City, I think it is, and got them to run a plate or something, and it turned out to be Malvo or Muhammad or both. I can't remember how that went down. Don't really care to think about it. Just you're entering into that now. Not that they're going to strike again, although they could. Right. We'll have to figure out who they are. Usually, these type of things take care of themselves pretty quick. Right. 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 The idea that probably Kirk shouldn't be cursed for what he's doing, but yet they're all cursing my life and using their money and their power to destroy my life. They know it's metaphysical. Right. I'm physical. Right. What's the problem with all of you? Because Satan's having you kill the genius. There's no doubt. Right. No, I commend Elon Musk, at least at this part, in engaging in activity that is more conducive to an executive protection of him and anybody that would be around him in such an instance. May not be going with the administration wants, but at least he toned it down, went into hiding a little bit. Well, again, the scriptures tell you, you have to understand the scriptures. It's like an ink blot. You're going to be drawn towards something in the scriptures. And again, Rabbi Yeshua ben David said, where your where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Right. Okay? So if your treasure is Ezekiel 34, and I credit Hashem for that, but if your treasure is Ezekiel 34 and things like that, then you're on track for Christianity. I mean, obviously, Nancy Mace was more liberal before the conservative push. Mm-hmm. So, to a certain degree, she's an operator. I don't know how deep she is into it, right? But she does tend to rule sometimes based upon what appears to be a psychological operation going on. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so does she? Does she see it? I believe she does. The investigation idea in my life has always been a scam. It's to get in there and cause the break of the mind, to cause them to investigate or cause a crime that they could investigate or arrest me for. Right? 100%. They always say there's something I have to stop. If I stop it, what do you think they do? They spend twice as much money trying to get me to start doing it again. Right? It's a scam. I've tested everything from the porn to talking to people, to speaking out, to not speaking out, to no porn. Right? So if you're like somebody paying them for something, they're lying to you. They're scamming you. They're creating a situation where you would pay them. Right? And they create these shootings so they get weight. Oh, that guy's like a shooter. Right? That'll be the next thing, That guy's like a shooter. You saw there was a shooting of Charlie Kirk. Now you have to let us harass him again. All right. Yeah. Gotta protect us from shooting. Shootings. Well, guess what happened now? I just spoke enough that they don't want to hear anymore. So now it's opening up so I can start my move again. But yeah, I know everything, right? They want me offline, but it doesn't mean I'm going offline. Right, so this is 1, 2, 3. Which one is... I didn't figure out what I got here. Oh, that's the cross piece. Now I'm trying to figure out my wood here. I have to protect my wood so it doesn't get gouged. Oh, this is the one that may be crooked a little bit. Right. Yeah, if you gave me my money, it'd be easy. I just bring people in and get my move done, right? Bring cleaners in. I mean, you owe me millions. I'm obviously supposed to be a millionaire just based upon what I've helped you with. The damages makes me a billionaire, right? Again, the inside also makes me a billionaire, right? Watch how the earth is actually supposed to be operating. I gotta get all my wood out of the closet. Have to get the bedroom completely done today. Adding those 2 days was great. Yeah, the prayers will start up here shortly again. I ordered some LED candles. Right. So that should. This is how it worked. It was funny because I'm like wanting to order them. I'm like, I don't have enough money. You know, I'm going to be in debt. I don't know if I'm going to order these. I'm kind of stuck, you know. And it could be just be a metaphysical block, right? So all of a sudden, I walk into my front room, and there's the menorah that I ordered for like $30 or 27 bucks, something like that. That was broken when I got it. I thought I returned it. And I'm like, oh, I can buy it with that money. Because that gentleman goes, now you have additional money that you wouldn't have had unless you had that quandary. Right. So. So buy it with that money. So I knew I shouldn't want me to buy it. Right. No, I should have never came here. That was the key. I had to like just spend this money. I wish I'd have spent it 2 years ago and went. You know, I couldn't even see Altoona. I couldn't even see Pittsburgh. All right. Even Pennsylvania is better weather than here. Agreed. Yeah. All right. Now, you know, speaking with people in massage therapy and things like that, they're aware of the corruption. Now, you don't know if they're corruption. They think corruption is the fact that we deport people. Sometimes they don't have the right focus, you know. But they pretty much people believe Johnson County is absolutely corrupt. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Sorry. I'm like the not like the it's not like I'm the first person to say this. All right, yeah. I'm trying to remember where I was in this particular project, this woodworking project. I'm not fully remembering it. Just where I was. I was close to putting it together. When I got sick, I was within probably a couple weeks of actually having the basic arc fireplace completed. But I'm kind of glad now. I'm leaving here, and I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be in a 9-foot ceiling environment, right? Which is good for, you know, utilities. Lower the ceiling, less it takes to heat it, right? Which means I'm going to have to change probably the height of the fireplace, unless I put it as a standalone. Or the idea is also, because I have other cabinets, I can end up with 2 arcs, right? And the other arc has the fireplace with, you know, a lower height thing there. So it won't have that cap on there. It'll be lower. And then I could still have a tall fireplace. We'll see. Electric fireplace. And I got all wood in here. I got to get out of here. I got to get this over to storage. So that's the key. By the day I move, I want to have all this stuff, but for a couple items over at storage already, and have it cleaned to the point of, departure. There's other things going on. Yeah, I'm getting down to the wire, but I think I'm doing good. Actually doing really good. I just got to keep moving through this for the next couple of days. Saturday should just be a kind of, final cleanup day, hopefully. Hopefully I have it all done by Saturday. I might also, if I have enough room, I think I'd do if I readjusted it, I might actually move the arc over to storage. Actually, I'm saying don't, because you want it the last day, because you want your helpers just to help you carefully place it. Right. Okay, so I'm going to have to move some of this out to the van. Well, stay peaceful, praise God in all that you do, praise God. There. For some reason, my television is off. Oh, I see. Monitor went off. Yeah, my Surface Pro, the screen touch is not what it's supposed to be. It's got to reset. It's going to take a little while.